Hey, y'all. Welcome in the building. It is Tuesday, trending topics. Glad to see y'all here. As you come in the building, don't forget, hit the like button, okay? Hit the like button. Listen, excuse me. It's trending topics. We got stuff to talk about. The title is called Nobody Wins. We got trial chaos and reckless moms, okay? So this is the Diddy trial, day 7, and a lot is going on. I feel like they're slow walking us. They're slow walking us to the RICO charges. It's a slow walk. And I will also say this, and again, this is diva thoughts, diva opinions. If the best they got are these couple of few witnesses that they brought up so far, this is a waste of the taxpayers' dollars. And those are my thoughts. A waste. You got Cassie mother came up there. I rarely seen an extortionist get back the money, but hey, stranger things has happened, right? Excuse me, I'm sorry, I had something in my mouth, so I had to finish swallowing and chewing it. But anyway, the mom got on the stand. She talked about how Diddy said we spent money on her and he was jealous because she was dating Kid Cudi and this and that, and give me my $20,000 back. Claim he spent $20,000 on Cassie and he wanted the money back, and the parents felt like they had no other choice but to take a second mortgage out on their house. They wired the money to Diddy, and a few days later, the money was back in their account. You know how as couples, I get it, this case is polarizing, right? But you know how as couples, y'all go back and forth, you fighting. Maybe they say, oh, I bought you those shoes, I bought you that bag, give it back. And then 2 days later, you're not fighting no more, and they say, oh, I'm sorry, here go your bag, here go your shoes, bye, we good now. What extortionist gives you back the money? I really haven't seen one, but I guess we seeing it now. According to the prosecution, this is what we seen with Diddy. So Regina got on that stand to tell us this story. She also told about the bruises and the this and the that and the bop of the. And I'm not trying to minimize nothing. I'm not. But I have the ability to stay focused. Yeah, Flip, you ain't lying. They was just some crackheads with money. When we got to be clear on that. You know, when I do my little short videos, and people get very emotional with me, and some of them, they be following me for a while, and I still love them. But when I said I did a video earlier saying this whole thing is a circus, they was like, really, Diva, a circus? Yeah, it's a circus. If you go and watch some racketeering trials, you will know that it's no joke. They could tell you about 10 dead bodies they done found in the street, in the ditch, in the river. Remember, I'm originally from New York. I'm here in Jersey now, but I'm originally born and raised in New York. Didn't come to Jersey until 18. Born and raised in New York. They have mobsters. With people, you wake up, next thing you know, the news talking about, you better ask somebody from New York. The news be like, oh, they just 5 people dead in the car. A body washed up in the river. That's coercion. That's racketeering. That's RICO. Now, because I'm saying that, am I saying this man is innocent of everything? Listen, his lawyers came out the gate and said, yeah, it's a domestic violence situation, for sure. His lawyers didn't shy away from that. They let you know up front in the opening statements that this is going to be a whole domestic violence situation. So they got Regina on the stand, Cassie mother. Y'all said this man was running an enterprise, and as one of the witnesses, you bring Cassie's mother. And then the ex-assistant, he got a profit deal. So how many more witnesses are you going to bring on this stand that y'all gave a deal to who could barely say anything because they can't say something that may incriminate themselves? But I don't know if y'all caught it because everybody's getting wrapped up into the sensationalism of it all. But I caught it. He said that, there was this video where Diddy told him that, that was you playing dancing last night? He said, yeah. He said, I got to hold on to that video. And they asked him, what did it mean? I'm paraphrasing a little bit. He said, I would have been embarrassed. Who's embarrassed over just dancing? Who? I got 2 left feet. But why would him, if you were just dancing, why would he say, I could show that video and blackmail you? Because it was a whole lot more going on than dancing. Because the ex-assistant admitted to getting high and drinking. The ex-assistant put his hands on the chef. Let me tell you something. Everybody, well, it seems, allegedly, in the Diddy orbit, they was doing Diddy stuff. Now, the assistant had his threshold. I'll give that to him. Yeah, he did. That assistant, he said, when that Suge Knight thing happened, after that, he was out. He said his life was on the line. And I want to say this, too. Because we all know, listen, you got some friends that may be bad. Or you know somebody that knows somebody. Or maybe you got an uncle, cousin, whoever. One thing I can tell you about people is not every single day is going to be a bad day, or not every single moment is going to be a bad moment. So I think where these people struggle, they struggle with competing in their mind the good moments they had with Diddy versus the bad. And I think with some people, the bad was more than the good, but there was some good. There was some connection. This man was crying on the stand, the ex-assistant. Because I don't think he wanted to testify. They brought him in and said, you either testify or you going to go down as one of the people in the enterprise. So what would you do? You were signed too. Okay, I guess I got to get on the stand. Then you get on there and you looking Diddy in the face. You know you used to party with him. You know you used to drink up with him. You know he called it Diddy bopping. Then did he know how to name some stuff? The freak offs, the Wild King nights, or whatever else he called them parties he had. This ex-assistant got up on there and said they Diddy bopping. When you have Ciroc, the brand, Diddy's alcohol, and you take in all the other Molly stuff, this, that, and the other, called it Diddy bopping. Then the ex-assistant said, Diddy told him, you don't put your hands on the woman. What are you crazy? He said, go apologize to her. So the ex-assistant, not Diva, the ex-assistant said he rolled up a blunt. So that means the chef allegedly, like I say allegedly, was getting down with the get down too. She was cooking steak and flipping pancakes and pop. They all was messy. All of them was messy. Every last single one of them, a hot, stinking, filthy mess. He said he rolled up the blunts and went and gave it to the chef as a peace offering. That was the gift. But you see, that was Diddy mindset. You do something wrong, you go give a gift, you go give a peace offering. Whether the gift was, I'm going to pay you hush money. Whether the gift was, I'm going to take you shopping at Gucci, Louis, and all the good stores. You know that the movie Pretty Woman? And remember, like, he took her shopping. That's what Cassie was like. She would be on highs and lows, literally and figuratively. They would literally get high. They call themselves get high partners. That's what they call themselves, not Diva. But not only that, She had her highs and lows from when the time she was getting beat down to the time he would take her to all the stores. He shut down the mall. He'd take her to the Gucci, the Louis, and they was treating her like a queen. And Chanel. And he said, give her whatever she want. And she leave there happy with her bags, and then 10 minutes later, he's knocking her upside the head, allegedly. So we're going to talk about it. Yes, do I think it's a circus? It's a circus. It's a circus. Because they keep saying, oh, they got 8 weeks. They're going to get to it. 8 weeks go by like this. We are already in week number 2. Week 1 was the jury selection. This is week 2. Or is it week 3? I'm getting confused now, too. As a matter of fact, it's really week 3, but day 7 of his trial actually started after the jury was selected. So we're dwindling down on the weeks. And Kid Cudi is coming. But I don't care what you say. Did you see me come and blow up your car? I don't care what you heard from Cassie, from this one, from the side note, what you thought, whatever. Did you see me come blow up your car? But I said it back then, and I'm going to say it again. When they raided that house, they had all this evidence, this case would be a more slam dunk. It's not. Have you yet to hear about the minors? Where the minors at? Has anybody heard about the minors? Remember, they was pumping that in our ear before this trial started. Where the minors? Have you yet to hear that anybody had the substances forced down their throat? We had workers come up there and testify, and they said it was offered to them. Some said they took it, some said they didn't, some said they took some part of it. But none of them have said that it was forced upon them. If you come to my house and I'm gonna be like, you want some water? You want soda? In Diddy's world, it was like, do you want Molly? Pink cocoa? What you want? We got it. It's no different. That was their world. Our world, the people come to your house. You're not taking off your clothes and watching people do stuff. Maybe you watching a movie, playing cards, and serving them some chicken and french fries and some soda, some water, some lemonade. At Diddy's house, you was getting Ciroc and allegedly ketamine, allegedly pink cocoa. But we're going to talk about it. So yes, do I think it's a circus? It's a circus. And I'll address one more thing. It's a follower that always follows me too. Diva, I'm disappointing you. Are you disappointing me? You should be disappointing these people that was over there doing the free calls and getting beat down and wouldn't leave. But you disappointed in the diva? Disappointed in the diva because they say as a nurse, diva, you should understand best why these people wasn't able to leave. Hold on, wait a minute. Let's stop. At some point, you know why? I'll speak to the black people for 1.2 seconds. You know why we staying together? Because we always act like we so helpless to every single situation. Nobody wants to educate because if they educate, they're afraid they're going to be outside the box. So we'd rather go with the group and no one dare educate because then you're going to be saying that you're a victim shamer. No, I'm not a victim shamer. I'm trying to save the people that are not victims from becoming one. At some point, they all left. And they said, listen, let's keep it 100. They said he's a complete monster. And if you dare speak up, you left, you did this, you were going to die. But yet they all were here in New York testifying. So they survived after Diddy. They survived after Diddy. Is that not ironic? This man is a beast. He's a monster. You didn't do what he said. He's going to unalive you. But yet y'all all survived and y'all at the trial testifying in this stand. You got to make it make sense. You know what it is? They got it. They don't. They did it too. It wasn't benefiting them no more. Then they got angry that they stayed in it that long. But if we gonna talk, people, we got to talk, and we gonna keep it 100. So y'all should be proud of me, because I'm trying to save the next person from coming up and being a potential victim. I tell y'all all the time, have your own. And I don't care if your own is a studio apartment, have your own. Work for yours. Don't let nobody run you over. Yeah, there's a lot of jobs that unfortunately I didn't rise to the top, but I didn't rise to the top because I wasn't willing to compromise my values and my morals. Wasn't going to do it. And guess what? Even though I didn't do that, I still lived a great life and I survived. But you know what? A lot of people, they rather drive the Benz, what's the BMW, the Range Rover, have the Gucci bag, the red bottoms on. In the meantime, their soul is empty. Their heart is broken and they're dying inside. And because they're dying inside, now they got to take the alcohol, the drugs to numb the pain. So I'm over here trying to tell you, don't do stuff where you're going to have to try to numb the pain, because it will never go away. You're going to have to take more. You're going to have to drink more. You're going to be drinking when the moment you wake up to the time you go to sleep at night. And if you choose to pick up drugs, you're going to be drugging from the day to the night. No, is Diva perfect? Nobody is. But see, the other thing is, when we get older, we got to rise up and want to educate and not be in the club dropping it and was shaking our booty with the youngins. No, we got to say, listen, beware, watch out. I've been there. I've done that. I'm trying to save you from going down the rabbit hole. Catch this wisdom. So no, it's never a victim shame. But I'm telling y'all for facts in real time, if my son come through the door with a black eye and he said some chick did it and she in the WNBA and she bought his car, I said the car is going back to where it came from. You leave it. Twerking, thank you. That's why I couldn't find a word. A grandma still twerking. We got to stop the nonsense like we just don't have the ability in this day and age to get out. You got Instagram. You got YouTube. You got all of these platforms. There's help if you want it. But the truth is, if we tell the truth is, you want a Gucci bag, you want status, you want to be at the Met Gala, the Grammys, at whoever's house, hearing the concert and snapping a picture and put it, that's what you want more. Come on now. Come on. Thank you. You got us. You got me in the kid. Come on now. We ain't playing these games. We got to talk. But now let me move on. And let me tell you this. This is why I call it a circus. Then I got to tell you about the second story and bring the people in the building. It's a circus because Dawn Richard got on that stand. She told us in the lawsuit she saw minors. She saw all kinds of people abusing people at the party. She went in the party, blocked herself in the door. Now, this is a monster that you said you were so afraid of. He's going to beat you. But he allowed you to block yourself in the door. You saw minors. Did she talk to us about the minors on that stand? You saw this man beat Cassie down. You saw this man punch Cassie in the stomach at dinner. But then You call this man talking about, I need a job. And you want to tell me she had no other option either? Yes, she did. Target, Walmart, McDonald's, Wendy's, Starbucks. Come on. Oh, you know what, girlfriend? You better tell it. You better tell it. Thank you. You better tell it. Diva, let me say this. Katie Holmes escapes time in Scientology, but maybe it's because Katie had a close legal family. Listen, she escaped. We got to talk. If you want out, you can get out. And they say that Scientology thing is a beast. Allegedly. Let me just tell you about the last story and bring these people in the building because I haven't talked enough. The last story is these unfit parents. The parents was in the bar drinking. The kids is in the car. Then one kid is roaming the street. The cops came, was with the kids for 45 minutes, and then the parents arrived. Weeds in the car is a disaster. There's toddlers in the car. This is crazy. Unfit parenting. Y'all know what I need in the chat? Because I don't talk too much. I need a what? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Tuesday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. Nobody wins. This is a situation that is a lose-lose situation, okay? Chaos and reckless moms. We got Diddy trial day 7, and we got unfit parenting exposed. Let me bring the people in the building. Hey, Katrina.
Hey, Diva. Hey, Chat. Hey, panel.
Hey, Keisha.
Hey, you guys. Hey, Chat. Hey, Diva.
Nice to see you. Hey, Miss K and J, thank you so much for the super chat. Much love. I appreciate you. Diva dropping gems. Did you hear the judge question the prosecution on not selling RICO or racketeering elements? Child, they questioned the prosecution. And this judge is kind of even. He ain't picking sides. Hey, Google, shut up. They're going Google when I want it, don't even pay attention to me. So come on now. The judge is wondering when we get into the charges. Is that not a mess? The judge want to know, not just me. So thank you for the super chat. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get right into this first story. So the first story is the Diddy trial updates, the little snippets. I get my little snippets from Harvey. You know, I like my TMZ, y'all. So we're going to hear him talk. I hope this is the one I want because I want to make sure it's on day 7. Okay, I'll wait till it queues up. So Diddy trial highlights the Punisher, Obama X pills, Cassie's mom, and feds hone in on RICO. Let me say this to you. I think it's messy. Leave Obama out of this. I'm sick of the name dropping. I'm really sick of it, but let's listen.
Prosecutors invoked the name of Barack Obama in the Diddy trial today. And if what I'm thinking is right, it is shocking. I got to tell you, every big criminal case has a character. In O.J. Simpson, it was Kato Kalin. In Diddy, it was the Punisher. This guy comes up on the stand today, and I got to tell you, it just blew my mind. So he testifies that he was an exotic dancer, and he got a call from Cassie, and she said, well, you know, my husband wants to celebrate my birthday with an exotic dancer. So can you come to where we're staying at the Trump International Hotel in Midtown New York and do a dance for us? So he shows up. Cassie is wearing next to nothing with a wig and says, why don't you get comfortable? And he, short story, goes into the bathroom, comes out naked. Diddy is slathered in baby oil. Cassie's slathered in baby oil. She ends up having sex with the Punisher, and he earns $2,000. And this goes on 5 or 6 times a year for the next 3 years, where it's this kind of role playing. It turns out he is a fan of Diddy's, didn't know that it was Diddy there watching as he was having sex because he had a mask on. So there was actually a hint, because when you check into some of these hotels, it says welcome, and it said Sean Combs on the screen. So obviously he had an idea at that point. But as I said, this continued, and it almost became a joke. This guy wrote a book, and in the book, he actually described some of these encounters using fictitious names. The defense asks, what is the name of the book? And he says that the name of the book is Freezer. Let me just check. What's In Search of Freezer Meat? In Search of Freezer Meat. The defense, almost like this is a comedy routine, says, well, what is that? And he says, well, I called it that because what's harder than that? So it turns out he talks in the book about having erectile dysfunction because he couldn't perform when people were watching him have sex with a woman. So the question, what does this have to do with the Diddy trial? There was no testimony that Cassie was forced. There was no testimony about coercion. So when you think about it, there were 3 people in the room, right? There's Cassie. She's already testified, never said anything specific about this guy. The Punisher has now taken the stand. He never said anything about coercion. And then you got Diddy. Well, he's not going to testify. So the 3 people, the story is over. The ship has sailed. So where is the coercion? Where's the racketeering here? Because it's not even interstate commerce, because the guy lives in Harlem, and the 2 incidents that they really chronicled, one was at the Essex Hotel in New York, and the other was at the Trump International in New York. So there's no interstate transportation. There's no racketeering. There's no evidence of coercion. So the question, why did he testify? And I'm not even saying it to challenge, but the prosecution never really explained this in their opening statement. So I'm thinking the jury is sitting back saying, this is really entertaining. Why are we listening to this? And I don't really have a good answer to that. Now, Diddy's assistant also took the stand. This is where we get into Obama. So David James continued his testimony, talked about setting up hotel rooms for Diddy, and things that he had in the room included condoms, applesauce, Jell-O, Fiji water, just for men. So far, I'm not hearing much. Ecstasy shaped like Obama's face. Why did this come up, that it was shaped as Obama's face? So, look, I don't want to get too conspiratorial here, but Obama, especially in New York, but in a lot of other places, but in New York, was a beloved president. And to have Obama-shaped ecstasy pills almost feels sacrilegious in a way. So does this prejudice the jury a little bit that Diddy would be so disrespectful as to get ecstasy pills shaped like Obama's face? The fact is that ecstasy pills are shaped as faces of many other people. But just the fact that this came up, my antenna went up, and I thought, it's a clever play if the prosecutors really did this. But I would guess there must be some jurors who aren't too happy that this happened. Now, David James also testified that there was an incident, and this is finally, I feel like, where we're getting into one of the charges. An incident, there's a very famous diner in LA called Mel's, and it's on the Sunset Strip. So Diddy's security went to Mel's to get some food for him and ran into Suge Knight, who was an arch enemy of Diddy's. So the security guard comes back with the food, tells Suge that he saw Suge tells Diddy that he saw Suge at the restaurant. Then, according to David James, Diddy says, David James, you and the security get in the car with me. Diddy has 3 guns, and they go to Mel's, presumably to find Suge. Suge is gone. So I suppose that could get into the whole racketeering criminal organization, although we don't know what Diddy would have done had he seen Suge. So that's the closest that I saw in the morning that linked the testimony to a crime that he's charged with. I mean, there were other crimes, but that's the one, to me, that might go to racketeering. Now, in the afternoon, prosecutors called somebody to the stand. They called Cassie's mom, and this was powerful. Regina Ventura. This is really powerful. She testified that Diddy threatened to release sex tapes of her daughter. And she read an email, and I think this email is really damning for Diddy. It said this: the threats, and this is from Cassie to Cassie's mom, Regina. The, he threatens that to have the threats that have been made towards me by Sean Puffy Combs are that he is going to release 2 explicit sex tapes of me. He has also said that he will be having someone hurt me and Scott Mescudi, who is Kid Cudi. And that's the man, Kid Cudi is the rapper she was dating at the time. So this seems to be a threat against Kid Cudi and extortion, coercion, by threatening to release the sex tape. Now, again, if the threat has to do with freak offs, then there's a direct tie to the criminal charges. If this is about racketeering, it seems to count as well. Now, the question is, release the sex tapes unless what? Well, this is what's interesting. Regina says that shortly after getting the email, Diddy called her and said he needed $20,000 to recoup money that he had spent on Cassie. And I think it's really easy to read between the lines here, because Cassie already testified to this, that Diddy was pissed that Cassie was dating Kid Cudi. And this was just petty jealousy and threats of extortion, saying, I may release the sex tapes unless you give me the $20,000 back that I gave you. So Regina actually had to take a mortgage out in her home to pay the $20,000. Diddy eventually paid it back. But when you get into racketeering, I think prosecutors are in the zone here, saying he's making physical threats against Kid Cudi. He's trying to extort me and threatening to release sex tapes. I think there prosecutors are in the zone. And prosecutors continued, I think, with another effective witness. This is a special agent for the Department of Homeland Security, the Human Trafficking Division. He testified that when the FBI Homeland Security raided Diddy's mansion on Star Island around Miami, they seized parts of AR-15 rifles, sex toys, lingerie, Astroglide. The Astroglide's, I think, irrelevant. But the guns were loaded and the serial numbers were cut out. So starting to feel like they're honing in on racketeering now. So you have AR-15s with the serial numbers cut out. You have these guns loaded. You've got this threat with Suge Knight, where he's driving with 3 guns to Mel's Diner. You've got the mother of Cassie talking about this extortion, about releasing sex tapes and then demanding $20,000. So I think now you're starting to feel what the prosecution is trying to prove, which is this is like a criminal organization that's being run at the hands of Diddy. What I don't understand is why throw in the other stuff? Why call the Punisher? You know, it just deviates from the core. You know, sometimes in trials, less is more. And if they just feel they're trying to dirty him up, sometimes that backfires, which we've already talked about. But I do think they made headway today when it comes to racketeering.
Right. So he feels that they made some headway. Before I go finish reading this article, Lawson said the people that don't want to see coercion and that Diddy ran a criminal enterprise just don't want to see it. Cassie mom basically testified to blackmail and extortion. I mean, I don't know we could say the same thing for both sides, right? The people that don't want to see this as a circus just won't see it. And your side feels the people that don't want to see this as coercion just don't see it. The issue here is, though, as the prosecution, the burden of proof is on them. The burden of proof is on them. I need back-to-back witnesses that's telling me about coercion. This ex-assistant, what did he say? There was a video, I was dancing. He told me he was going to save it and embarrass me with it. I mean, what was on said video, sir? You said you was just dancing. You know, I got friends, you fall asleep at the house party, whatever. They snap a picture of you. They be like, girl, I'm going to put this on Facebook. I'm going to put this on Instagram. When you ready to put somebody away for life, we need some solid back-to-back proof, because you got to remember, so don't be mad at the jury if the jury comes back not guilty, because remember, all the jury needs is reasonable doubt. The prosecution got to convince all 12 of those jurors to say guilty. There could be no reasonable doubt. Right now, in my mind, they playing games, they hopping around, they're all over the place, and every now and then they drop a nugget, and you got to say to yourself, okay, well, is that coercion? She got the $20,000 back. Well, what happened here? What thug you know is going to run you down, talking about run me my money, and then they give it back to you? I don't know, but let me finish this real quick so I could talk to the people. Prosecutors seem to be getting more testimony geared towards the racketeering charge against Diddy and his seventh day of witnesses on the stand, but there was still some outlandish stories told in court too. The wildest testimony came courtesy of the male exotic dancer nicknamed the Punisher. He told the jury about the first meetings with Cassie and Diddy and talked about a book he wrote about erectile dysfunction in search of freezing meat. This is what the prosecution brought as a witness. There was tons of sex workers. The best they got is the Punisher, who wrote a book about freezing meat. But if y'all say this is cool, then okay. The Punisher had a lot to say about kinky sex, but there wasn't a whole lot of meat on the bone when it came to criminal charges. Even though we'll give him his due as a very entertaining character, prosecutors seem to make another interesting move in asking Diddy's former assistant, David James, about some ecstasy pills he saw Diddy popping in the shape of Barack Obama's face. But James has some relevant testimony where he told the jury about Diddy grabbing 3 guns and hopping in a car in search of his arch nemesis, Suge Knight, who David had seen earlier at the famous diner in Los Angeles. The testimony detailed with some of the Cassie's prior testimony, and it went towards the prosecution building their RICO case against Diddy. Cassie's mother, Gina Ventura, provided the most powerful testimony when she told the jury about the email she got from her daughter. So the email came from Cassie, where Cassie relayed an extortion threat from Diddy involving sex tapes and Kid Cudi. The testimony also related to racketeering and sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. The day ended with an agent from Homeland Security Investigations. He worked in Human Trafficking Division. Hold on one second, my screen jumped. And ran point on the March 2024 raid at Diddy's estate on Star Island in Miami. And he told the jury the search turned up a loaded AR-15 rifles with the serial numbers scratched off, plus sex toys. Okay, what does sex toys have to do with this? Lube, lingerie, and platform heels. All right, they like to do what they do. The guns are the most relevant at the RICO charges. Prosecutors seem to be zeroing in on the racketeering component of the case, even though they added some sideshows with the Punisher. That's the Punisher going back to his car. Testimonies continue Wednesday, and there's a chance Kid Cudi will take the stand, though it could be pushed to Thursday, depending on the timing. So this is the Punisher going to his car. He finished his testimony.
Hey, Punisher, do you think that you're going to get more calls after this?
This girl from TMZ, they better give her extra because she out in them streets doing her job. Let me stop sharing this screen. Katrina, your thoughts?
I guess that's where they're trying to get him with the extortion. I guess when he said that they got in the car with the pow pows and they went to go out to do whatever they want to do to Suge Knight. And I guess the extortion thing is when he told, he said he was going to release some sex tapes of Cassie and that he wanted his 20,000 back. So, but then he returned the money. I don't, this is this thing is so weird and crazy. Like we said last night, let's just get down to the bottom of it. And I know sometimes you have to drop some crumbs to make a big cookie to pick them up. So we will see how this turn out. But as it looking, it can be 50-50. But the prosecution need to bring it on. They need to bring it on in because they still ain't landing the plane. They're just circling around, circling around. And yes, Chad, I do know it takes time to get the up to the RICO and all the other stuff, the racketeering and all the other stuff. But and I guess they're laying the foundation work. But we'll see how this goes because everything I'm hearing is DV. Like I said, the extortion is from the tape, I guess, of him saying he's gonna blackmail her with the tapes. And I guess the other thing is when they was getting in the car with the pow pows. But they need some more stronger stuff than this to put him away. Cause I could see them saying time served or 2 to 3 years, and Trump will get him out. But we'll see how it goes. That's all I got, Diva.
Yeah, Shamika, I know you say Diva. It wasn't just he was dancing; he took drugs, and they had that on video, and that's why Diddy said that the media isn't posting everything that was said. No, I said that earlier. The guy called it Diddy bopping. Yeah, he did take drugs, but still. So you took drugs, you was Diddy bopping, and you was dancing. I'm telling you, he was doing more than dancing. Cause just cause you took drugs, people now they ain't even that harsh and crazy with the drug takers now. They really not. Listen, if you go in New York, I got a reference where I go. You go in New York now, you get second contact high because everybody in the street smoking the weed now since it's legal. Felicia, your thoughts?
Well, hey, everybody, and good evening. I want to say this. I have been following this testimony as clearly and as closely as I can for the past week and a half. There's a lot of things getting said. So I guess it depends on what part you catch, who you might be listening to, who you may be reading. But there was a lot of things said, I find it first off very interesting. It seems to me like TMZ and Harvey are trying to swing the pendulum in the other direction right now. And I'm not sure why. Yes, I think many of us here in the New York area really, really offended by that Obama piece of information. But I didn't see it. So I don't know if there's a picture of it or not. According to the testimony, Mrs. Ventura, Cassie's mother, read an email that she received from Cassie about an alleged threat of some tapes. I don't think Cassie's mother and father saw anywhere near that tape until this trial took place, okay? Or when they went to the prosecution office, all right? I've learned that people lie, and they lie a lot. And they'll say a lot of stuff. Just because you wrote a letter to your mama and said he's doing X, Y, Z, don't mean that's what you did. And I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm just saying that's not the kind of evidence I'm looking for.
You better talk.
Where is his email to her mama? Because he called her all the time, okay? It was a chit-chat and a he and a kiki up in her house all the time. Now, I have spoken many times on this panel about not allowing the predators into your home. When you know somebody's a predator, whether it be a family member, a neighbor, a teacher, the guy down at the corner store, don't let him in. Don't be setting a plate at the table for a known predator, an abuser. Now, Mrs. Ventura, when Cassie came up that Christmas, she was there nursing her wounds and putting the salve on and getting all into her feelings. And she said, Mama, I got a new man. I got a new boyfriend. She said, you do, baby. She go, yeah. His name is Scott. Well, yeah, you can have him come up. And he comes up for 3 or 4 days, and he spends time now with the Ventura family during the holidays. Okay. 2 months later, when they had broken up, and that would be this Kid Cudi guy, this Scott guy. When they broke up, guess who was up at the house? The so-called monster, the ex-trafficker, the ex-boyfriend, Sean Combs. So I say, I understand why they didn't, the defense didn't question the mother, because the mother testified today that there was an incident where it was Cassie's 30th birthday and Mr. Combs took her phone and he drove off with it and everybody was looking for him. And when she saw him, she approached him and she was going to whip his ass. Okay. Yeah. And they had to D-Rock had to step between her and him because she went to swinging on him. So I think if you kind of have that information, you don't want that mother to go off on the stand. So I agreed with the defense on that. But in terms of the assistant, one of the things that also he testified to was that he was with ex-workers. Oh my good Lord. And not only that, he didn't want to pay the ex-worker. And he allegedly had a girlfriend.
Oh.
And he was known to run around kind of outside of this relationship. And who did he say it was? He said it was Roger Bond, right? He said it was Roger Bond and he was hanging out. And this is what they were doing. They found these 2 women. They had picked them up and so forth and so on. So why am I doing this? Because so many people compromised here. They're just compromised. And when folks are compromised, you have to ask yourself, well, what are they asking the jurors? Okay. Now, one of the other things that Mr. James talked about was that he was given a proffer deal.
Come on, talk to the people.
Much like Keefy D. He said, they asked him, why are you here today, sir? He said, because I was subpoenaed. So he was straight up front. This is the same witness that would cry on and off, laugh on and off, and said he was terrified. But they want me to believe that he went after Suge Knight. Come on now. Come on. Again, I won't do it. I'm so glad there's all these miles between me and Suge Knight and that I don't know nobody that know him. But I'm going to drive up at 4 a.m. and come back with Mr. Combs and have some weapons. So I must have been under the influence. That's all I could think of. I couldn't have went out there sober. And that was the other thing. And I think Diva will support this. The man said he would work 18, 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. How you do that? And you're human. So, yeah. So if there was an alleged tape of him doing anything, he testified that he did the substances. He testified that he went after the ex-workers. He testified that he was there under oath, subpoena. Okay. And that, he was afraid. So there was no credibility there for this guy with me. And then you have this gentleman who actually was in the mail review business. And he came up to talk about how he was hired and what's her name? Janet. That's her name. Cassie Ventura's name when she's at the hotel. And Mr. Black, that's Mr. Combs, they hired him to come in and do this work. And I thought when his testimony was over that he was more a better witness for the defense than anybody else. He never said that Miss Ventura anytime refused, that she said she was being held against her will, that she wanted to leave the establishment. He said every time it was she who contacted him, it was she who paid him. And I just, yeah. So when we talk about extortion, I think when Mrs. Ventura heard that there's these tapes, I don't think she, like any of us, thought that it was anything like what we've heard. And I think the mother said, well, what does she owe you? What does
that's
she
where the 20,000 came in.
Correct. I swear to God, that's how I'm receiving it. And I think Miss Cassie, her entire life, has been allowed to manipulate and to lie and to harm others. And I think everyone pretty much who is coming up on this thing right now, she put their name on a piece of paper. And if you had anything to do with any of what she's been doing during her time with Mr. Combs, she gave your name to the prosecution. I really believe that.
She did, because she had to give names, right? Because she got herself into this once she did that lawsuit and they called her. She had to hand over the broken laptops and they wanted names. They wanted names, places, times, or whatever. And as they was going through the names that she gave, they had to cross off the ones, okay, this one ain't no good. She was too drunk and too hot. This one we can't use. We can't use this one. We can't use that one. We can't. They took the best of the worst. And this is what we getting.
And this is why I think this has become such a debacle and so embarrassing. I think this is something that has been let out onto society that need not be. And I think that there are way too many people who find this aspect of engagement interesting and are now doing their own research and want to pursue this. So I think we're going to hear more people now being victimized in these ways. And I'm disgusted with Miss Ventura. I would have loved to have just seen her take accountability. I can't remember, what is her name? Heidi Fleiss? Who? I don't remember. You don't give no names. Go do your time, sis.
You better talk about
Go
it.
do your time. I think she vomited up every single name she could to avoid jail time. You know, I hear about, oh, she's so strong. She's so this. No. This man, the Punisher, Share Harte, no. Only she knew him. She knew him. I know Mr. Combs didn't say he's it. She knew him. She knew all the names of the people she hired. Think about that. This assistant, David, she knew him. And then you had in that lawsuit where Roger Bond said he tried to step in. He was going to be helpful and all this stuff. She done turned on Roger Bonds. And in fact, and I'm going to end it here as I'm thinking out loud, she turned on her own mama because her mother was involved in extortion and bribery too, if that's what it was. I'm
100%.
I'm done, Dina.
100%. But you see, the thing is, right, it's good to have these conversations. And it's good, too, that, you know, I don't get shaken and moved by the people wanting to tell me, oh, I want this, I want that. No. I wasn't at the freak off. I wasn't in that house. For the most part, let me say this to you. When somebody's in darkness and then there's some light that comes, that light is not going to stay in that darkness unless they get snatched in and want to stay there and be there. Everybody in that house, in some way, shape, or form, was taking the alcohol, the drugs, and being involved in these freak offs. You know, just human nature. You can't sit there and watch all of this go down day after day after day, and it doesn't impact you. They will tell you, therapists will tell you, not the diva, but I'll transfer this information to you. They said 8 people are together and 7 of them drank. Either somebody's going to change somebody, but there's a high level chance that the 7 will change the non-drinker into a drinker. If you let them. It all depends if you let them. It all depends on who you are. But there's a lot of people that 9 times out of 10, they will become the drinker. So you have all these people, and what told me that and made me really connect when Diddy told him to give the chef a gift. He said he rolled up a blunt and that's what he gave, because that's what they was used to seeing in that house. The alcohol, the drugs, and the sex. Mm-hmm. Wayne, your thoughts?
You know, I was thinking, if these jurors are really taking their civic duty seriously, you know, they're taking in all this. You know, they're not taking sides, and they're actually listening to this information. And when you're looking at giving somebody life in prison, 20 years to life in prison, whatever it is, you need a little more information. Even if the email with her mother or whatever, even that was true. If you, and they wanted to call that coercion, whatever, if they wanted to call that something, then how are you think they're gonna look at that and think that's deserving of 20 years in prison? You know, I'm just saying that the people that bring it on, if this is the quality of their witnesses, it's bound somebody on that jury, at least one person going to say, not guilty. Because the information is not, I don't think it's the information that's going to put somebody, so far anyway, put somebody away for 20 years. Other thing, I had a conspiracy. I think, because I always wondered why he never got bail. And I think he never got bail because I think the powers that be, whoever, in that circle or whatever, said, we need him to stay there to protect him. And they didn't want him out there running around with information. And you know how you saying how if you, rather than you telling you snitching other people, you just go do your time. So I don't think they want him out there getting other names that shouldn't be out there. So it got to be a reason why he had to be there and couldn't get bail. He had the money. I'm done.
Thanks, Wayne. Now, let's be real. The man was used to paying his way out of trouble. So they didn't want him out there because, listen, he acted a fool when he came to New York to turn himself in. There shouldn't have been not a drug in your room unless maybe some Tylenol or Motrin. So, and he was from behind bars, allegedly, trying to pay hush money and shut people up. So they didn't want him out there because he was trying to hush the people from talking about him. Keisha, your thoughts?
Yeah, today, I mean, the mom, she did surprise me more than I thought. I thought it was going to be kind of a circus like Dawn. So it did kind of surprise me a little bit. But looking at it, I'm kind of agree with Felicia. You guys 100%. It just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem like everything is not making sense. And this might be kind of controversial, but I don't think somebody put in the chat yesterday how to say rumors can ruin someone's life. And this is going to ruin his life and make her look like an angel. And I don't know if y'all remember, everybody already remember Ike and Tina's story. And this is reminding me of Ike and Tina. And there's so many documentaries that say Tina was just like Cassie, but all we remember is the Ike story. And so this, I don't know, it's just kind of sad. Like Wayne said, I don't want him to go down, for 20 years for something he didn't do. And this would be horrible. And we have to put the pride back in our community. It's just horrible to hear the stories of the young women, the men that's just willing to do anything for money, like you said earlier, willing to lock down the store, buy you everything in the store, but he just beat you up and you just willing to come back home. So if anything out this trial, if we don't learn anything from it, we got to start having pride in ourselves. Like Diva said, we got to start teaching the young community. We can't just be willing to do anything for money, be willing to get beat up, be willing to sell our children just for money. But we got to be able to do that. I think that's the main thing I wanted to say, Diva. We just got to have some pride in ourselves. It's just horrible to see how people are just willing to do anything for money.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to go ahead and roll into this. Yes, sure.
May I just please say one more thing?
Of
Because
course.
I promised to say this every time I'd come up during this time. Today, I think, was day 7 of
Yes.
the trial. We still have not heard anything about any minors.
Come on.
We didn't hear it from the prosecution or the defense or the prosecution's star witness, Dawn Rashad, yesterday, who went into her civil suit in great detail to say that she saw scantily dressed people that looked very young and underage. Yeah, they were being passed around like candy and hors d'oeuvres to celebrities and others at a couple of Diddy parties that she had attended, that they would be driven up in a bus, and she saw the bus. So I'm just reminding you folks, we haven't heard yet. We're waiting. Thank you, Diva.
You're welcome. Bus loads of kids, minors, that got off. She was shaking her head. She was scared. Okay. So all kinds of things happening to them. And then she ran and she hid in the room. She saw all of this, but yet she called this man talking about, when can we work together again? It's the foolery. Y'all know I could pivot real easy. If you give me the evidence in 2.2 seconds, I will pivot. Y'all have seen me do it on this channel. Say something to me and you reasonable, I will pivot. But I can't pivot right now because everybody's lying and it's not making sense. I would appreciate if John Richard said, you know what? I was young. I was there. I didn't get paid. I'm pissed. I want my money. I can pivot, people. But what I'm not going to do is pivot with the lies. The exorcism was getting down with the get down. And I get it. When that Suge Knight thing would have been too much for me too. I would have been like, deuces. He said he was offered several jobs after that. He said, nah, I'm good. He was out. He knew his limit. And I would have been out too. But you giving these people all kinds of deals and you giving us nonsense on the stand and you want us to connect to Rico. And listen, the only reason I would have been impressed probably about these weapons that they found, I would have been impressed had I not seen how many weapons Jeezy had in his house. And I'm not saying Jeezy is doing anything. I'm just telling you, because I was exposed to how many weapons Jeezy had in his home, when you telling me you pulling 2 ARK-15s and they're doing Rico, I'd be quicker to believe some Rico was going on with Jeezy. I mean, he had Armageddon up in his house. And you want to tell me about these 3 broke down ARK-15s that was loaded in Diddy's house. I'm not. Oh, you said whether we believe that Cassie's a victim or not is debatable, but I don't think she lied about a thing. Yeah, I don't know if anybody said Cassie lied though. But I will say Cassie, whether you want to say lied or misrepresented the truth or left out the truth. I mean, if we could throw it all in the same bucket, but I'll move forward. It's interesting to me. I'll throw this out there before I move forward. It's interesting to me that in between she had boyfriends. I mean, are y'all not catching this situation here. I have heard of controlling relationships where the person couldn't even breathe and dare look at someone. Out of her own mouth, there was periods where they were broken up and he was with other people and she was with other people. I'm just trying to understand what narrative are we going with. Let me roll into the next story. Okay. Yeah, she still loved Diddy. If Diddy didn't say when Kim Porter died that Kim Porter was the one, the only one, Cassie would have still been around. In my opinion. Cassie knew that was the last straw. Cassie had her own mouth said she was jealous of Kim Porter. So she thought in her head, Kim Porter's going now. Let me go, just go support him. Tell him I'm sorry. Your baby mother died. Yada, yada, who. And when that man came out and said that Kim Porter was the one, was already the one, Cassie connected 100% because Cassie never got to go to Christmas or Thanksgiving, but Kim Porter was there. And that's why at one point she asked him, why not call Kim Porter for these freak offs too? You got to stay connected to this whole thing. Like I said, a circus. Let me get into the last story. These moms these days, crazy. Moms leave 4 kids in car to go drinking as body cam footage reveals shock confrontation, police said. Do y'all remember that mother? I want to say the kid had some disability, but it was like a toddler. And y'all told me, and I couldn't believe it, that she was probably in the casino gambling. She claimed she went in the casino to go to the bathroom or something like that. And the kid was in the car alone for hours. I don't know what's wrong with these people. Body cam footage showed the moment 2 moms returned to their car to find police waiting for them with their children and then allegedly lying about where they've been and what they were doing. 2 mothers in Arizona have been arrested after allegedly leaving their 4 young children unattended in a parked car while they went drinking at a nearby bar. The incident, which occurred on March 8, 2025 in the Westgate Entertainment District, was captured on body camera footage that was just released this past Thursday by Glendale Police Department. Around 11 p.m., several witnesses contacted authorities after spotting a small child wandering alone in the parking lot. Upon further investigation, officers discovered 3 additional children inside a nearby vehicle, including toddlers in car seats. The police said the 2 older children appeared to be 3 or 4 years old, while the younger 2 were in car seats, according to the news. They were left alone for about 40 minutes before the mother's return was captured on camera. When confronted by police, the woman claimed they had been gone for only 10 to 15 minutes. After an officer responded, "That's a lie. We've been standing with these kids for over 45 minutes by themselves." The mothers reportedly exhibited signs of intoxication, including slurred speech and smelled of alcohol, per the police. They then admitted to drinking at a nearby bar. Additionally, officers found a bag of marijuana in the glove compartment with easy reach to the children. I think I have it here. Let's see if we can play this.
This is. We found her going up and down here. She took us to the car. This and there's 2 other children in the car. One is an infant. They flagged me down. They thought she was maybe my kid because I was walking to my car.
Yeah, one's sleeping on the right and the other one's...
Oh, there is 2 of them in there.
Seriously. They reference this call. We've got 4 kids, 2, maybe 4 and 3, and then 2 in car seats, no adults around.
Appreciate it. Hi. Good, how are you?
How's it going? Wonder if y'all could help me with something.
Hey, your kids have been here for hours.
Hours?
Hours. Where have you been?
I went in and goes to the bathroom.
Really? Because we got a call about 45 minutes ago from people walking around saying they saw your daughter running around in the parking lot, no parents around. Your car's unlocked. You got 2 other kids in there. And where's the mom for the other little boy?
Where have you been?
I was in the bathroom and then I went to crumble cookies.
Where did you go?
We went inside to go to the bathroom.
Inside where?
We first went to the salt bathroom.
You went to Salt. So you went to a bar.
Yeah, to use the restroom.
What else did you do?
That was it.
You went into Salt to go use the bathroom. And you were gone for 10 minutes?
So I assume so.
So when I go talk to the Salt bouncers and I say, hey, handed you her license so that she could get into the bar, how long was she in there for and did she make any purchases? What are they going to tell me?
I mean, we did get a drink, but...
So you went to go to the bathroom and you got a drink. Meanwhile, you left your kids out here in the car unattended.
What time did you guys get here?
Like 15 minutes ago?
That's a lie.
That's the
We've
time
been
that we got
standing
here.
with these kids for over 45 minutes by themselves.
I really thought it was only 10 minutes. Like, I thought we were going in and out.
I've been here for an hour.
I'm sorry. I didn't have my phone on me. Please don't bring my kids away from me. Like, seriously, they're the only things I thought. I know this is super, super bad. I promise. Can I please just walk over to my baby? My heart's about to explode.
Nope. Stay right here for a minute.
Have you had anything to drink tonight?
Yes.
Where were you drinking? Between Crumble and the bathroom and Surprise.
Salt.
So now let's change the story. When did you go to Salt? Well, when I was looking through the car to find like any ID in the glove box, popped it open, there's a bag of weed in the glove box.
Yeah.
So those kids have been in the car for how long with weed? Just they could have easily accessed that as well. Phone calls done.
For what reason?
You're about to be put in your house.
Okay. Go pick up please at the hospital.
At this point, you and the other mom are both under arrest.
Okay. Understand your rights? Perfect.
What a disgrace. Both women were arrested and faced multiple charges. The children were taken by Glendale firefighters and evaluated at a local hospital per the police department. We're thankful to the Good Samaritans who stepped in and did the right thing. Glendale police said in a statement, it's a strong reminder leaving kids alone, especially while under the influence, is not only irresponsible, it's illegal. Oh my gosh. Felicia, your thoughts?
All right, so this is going to be when I give my words of wisdom to those who care to hear them or receive them.
Okay.
I said this last week. Anybody who comes to you and suggests or offers you some kind of drug, the use of alcohol, any kind of negative, addictive kind of behavior, they don't care for you. And they don't love you. Those two women did not come into the world like that. They knew better, but their addictions rule how they parent. Not only did they leave their children in the vehicle, they were so far from the place, the casino, wherever that was. So there was no thought. So they were really tore up. They were really tore up and they were intoxicated and in very bad shape. And those children are toddlers. It sounds like one was an infant.
Yeah.
And so together they did something that was incredibly dangerous and bad for those children. So those children are scarred. I'm hoping, and I agree, that they should have been arrested on the spot. And no, you can't go over there to your kids. And no, we know you're lying. I love that. I love that it was very direct. Yeah, we've been here 45 minutes. We know you're lying. It seemed to me that the mother in the yellow jacket, this wasn't her first go to the rodeo. I think the other one was her first go, the one with the 3 kids. I think the other one, this is the usual for her. And I hope that they got charged, and I hope that they are now in some program to get rehabilitated, and I hope their children are being someplace safe and loved and protected. I'm done.
Keisha, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. This is crazy to see two moms leaving their kids and then they're intoxicated. But like we talked about so many times on the channel, the addiction, once it takes over you, they weren't even thinking about those children at that point. They were just already intoxicated, thinking about whatever they had going on. But like you said, it's sad because the children are the ones that's going to have to suffer the consequences of this situation. And I am glad, just like they said, that the cops were so direct with them and they arrested them right on the spot. And I wish they could do that for, like we talked about on the other call, for the homeless and everything too. But I'm glad this situation did turn out like it did. And I hope these kids are okay. That's the main concern right now. But that's it, Diva.
Thank you. Katrina, your thoughts?
These women are two idiots. If you're gonna drink, why you just didn't drink at home? If you at home, don't nobody know what you're doing, but you need to be taking care of your kids. So basically, you probably did those kids a favor, because who knows what's happening when they're at home. And if you can leave them like this to go drink at a bar for 45 minutes, how are you treating them at the house? If you feel like you can just leave them there, somebody could have came by that car and kidnapped those kids or did anything, but you in the bar. And that child got out and started walking. What if somebody wasn't paying attention and hit that child? I mean, she did those kids a favor by her being up at that bar and the police walking up on them and seeing this. Them kids need to be taken, because if you can leave your kids to go drink at a bar when you could have drunk at home, that's ridiculous. And that is totally pathetic on every level. And I'm glad that little baby got out that car. I'm just glad he wasn't hurt. But maybe he saved the rest of the kids, because we don't know what's going on at their house. And it's just sad, just totally, totally sad. Like I tell you all the time, a lot of people can be a mom, but it take a real person to be a mother, and that's not a mother. That's all I got.
Oh, thank you. Wayne, your thoughts?
Diva, pass me on this one.
Okay. All right, guys. Listen, I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me for Tuesday night trending topics. It was late again, but tomorrow I should be back to my regular time, okay? 8 p.m. But I appreciate y'all. If y'all didn't hit that like button on the way in, hit it on the way out. We will be doing Diddy's trial day 8 tomorrow. It's a lot going on. I need them to do a slam dunk. Again with Kid Cudi, I get it. All of this was said to you, but where's your proof that I blew up your vehicle? Is it all hearsay? I don't know. Thanks, guys. Good night and goodbye, everybody.